Hey guys, it's Untitled Gamer, and we're here with another Anthem video. Today we are debuting our very first video build. Anthem is designed for each player to be creative as possible by changing your gear, skills, and abilities to suit the fight. Our potential is unlimited, and so this will kick off a series in which we take this build and others on a journey through Bastion as we experience the world over the next year of content. If you guys have any builds you want me to attempt to create, please leave them in the comments section, and I will try to do that in the future. Stay here and you will officially be up to date on the latest in Anthem, ranging from patch notes, news and updates, community Q&A roundups, educational videos like this one, and much, much more. If you're new to the channel, I am an up-and-coming content creator, and I focus on creating educational videos for Anthem and Dauntless, a free-to-play action RPG. I also stream at twitch.tv/SailorTurnGamer, link in the description box below, if you ever want to catch us live. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Now let's get into the good stuff. Alright, so I want to take a careful look at this build. It is my Ranger Hover build, and we are going to go through everything that this build offers and talk about it. At the end of the build presentation, I'm going to show some footage explaining to you guys how the build works, so you guys can see it in action and see that it's pretty fun and it's pretty strong. If you guys are looking for even more content than that, in the description box of this video I will leave a link to a note post that we will be posting on our Facebook Live, our facebook.com/SailorTurnGamer. If you guys hop over there and you like our page, you can get all of our updates. But more importantly, if you hop over to our Facebook page, I will be posting all of our written reviews for builds that we will be doing there. So if you guys want even more details as far as what are the specific main stats you guys can read at any point in time, what are the key highlights of this build, things of that nature, you guys can check all of that there on our Facebook on the live post, and that will be amazing. So what we're going to start off with first is our weapons. Those are the things that we carry with us everywhere we go, and they are the foundation of this build. So our primary weapon when we're using this build is our Masterwork Heavy Pistol, which is Avenging Herald. The thing that I love about this is its specific Masterwork perk, which is hovering, increases your weapon damage by 200%, which is outstanding. And where that even goes even higher is that we also got 175% weapon damage on this. So we're at 375% weapon damage while we are hovering, which is amazing, with 25% extra crit damage. Keep in mind we also got 15% gear speed, so it's really, really great. This build is predicated on hovering using this gun, but we can also use our secondary weapon, which is Divine Vengeance. We got a legendary Divine Vengeance to drop, and it is amazing. The third weak hit point causes large fire explosions, and they are nasty. And some of the key highlights of this is pretty much almost everything. We got a really good roll on this. The 26% damage, which goes to everything that we have because it's an all javelin stat. We also got 15% physical damage, which does go for your weapons. So not only is the Divine Visions much stronger, but that 41% extra damage that we're getting from Divine Vengeance, that's going straight up there to Avenging Herald, so it's even stronger. And it already cracked 375. It's well over 400% damage with those perks. We got 40% luck on it, which really came in the clutch, because those of you that don't know, the way luck works right now, as I'm making in this video, every freelancer starts off with a base level of 100 luck, and to maximize the capabilities of your luck, to increase the chances of getting better, higher rarity drops, what the number you want is 190 luck. So you only need 90 luck in your build, 90%. And we got 40% of that from this one weapon, so it's really, really great. Okay, now if we go over, let's talk about our grenade and assault launchers to show you why this build is even stronger than what it is now. We're using Frost Grenade to not only freeze the target in place, but we want to be able to combine that with our secondary perk, which is a Pulse Blast, and I'll talk about that soon. But once we freeze them, it's a lot easier to hit those weak points, not only with our guns, but with our Pulse Blast to do more damage and those combos. The Ranger specializes on doing individual damage with his combos, so that definitely goes a very, very long way. If we take a look at the specific Frost Grenade that we have, we got 20% extra ice effects, which is outstanding. Now, I wish I could trade out this shotgun ammo and ammo pickup. I just would rather trade that out. I don't use a shotgun, and 3% is not a lot of ammo pickup, so I would much rather have something else. But the 18% elemental damage is really nice, especially due to the perk on our legendary weapon with the fire explosions. That's going to play into this build very, very well, and I love it for that, especially the ice effect. It makes it that much easier to freeze targets when we need to. And the guys with the shields, they need to be frozen. They are annoying, and that fire is a killer, and freezing them just takes so much of a burden off. Now let's hop over to our Avengers Boon. With our Avengers Boon, I don't really care too much about the Masterwork perk as far as increasing your melee damage. We're not trying to be that close unless we're hovering high above them, hitting their heads and weak spots and stuff like that. So that part really isn't too crazy, but the 5% extra ice effect, which you guys are going to see little ice effect spots here and there on this build, that's going to help to make it a lot easier to freeze our targets. We also have 175% gear damage for this attack when we use it, which is clutch. And remember, on our on our legendary weapon, we actually got extra damage perks as well. So the damage that Avengers Boon can do it's amazing. And that's going to play into a lot of our components. But before we hop there, we want to talk about our bulwark. Now, ideally, I would rather use something maybe else. I feel like I can get something much better than this, but we don't have masterwork or legendary support items yet. So this is definitely still on the road to improvement. And as we make improvements, I will be updating this build and any other builds that we do in this series of builds. I will be updating them to show you guys the progression, as well as show you guys a new vision for the build. And the reason why we're using this one is mostly because of the luck. We have a lot of bulwarks down there and a lot of muster points, but I needed something that came with luck, because right now we're only at 40% luck on the build, and again we want to get to 90. So now we have 63% luck, which brings us really close to that 90, and we still have room in our components. It also benefited us because we're getting 10% extra damage on our pulse blast, so that's really good. And the pulse blast it's really good for taking out guys with shields or taking out their shields. But our pulse blast is incredibly strong, and we can kill a lot of guys even with their shields. And if we don't kill them, they're usually like a couple shots away. So it's pretty great. You guys are gonna see there's a heavy theme for pulse blast damage, luck, and hovering. It's really good. Okay, so let's move over to our components, which is the reason why we're all here. And you guys may be immediately thinking, hey, Sailor, why aren't you using 6 masterworks? Or where's your legendaries? What's going on here? Well, I have those, and I definitely have a lot more masterwork components. But those of you that don't know, it's not about having a masterwork javelin, because I know there might be some guys watching this video and you guys might be like, hey, why don't you have a masterwork javelin? What's up with that? Well, again, that's not the most important part. The most important part are your stats, and those are your main stats, and your secondary stats are those at a liking to which you enjoy, that help benefit the build that you're trying to create and play. As long as your main stats help benefit your play style, and the only thing you have to worry about is your health at a level in which you can manage. So that's going to be a big deal when talking about this build, because we are obviously not using 6 masterwork components, and we do have 3 components that are epic level, and we're using those due to the flexibility that it allows us. And in a perfect world, if I could have 6 masterworks that would allow us to have their health but give us the main stat rolls that we want, then I would, but I just haven't been that lucky yet. And so we're going with this style, but it's incredibly effective. So we're going to start off with our very first component, which is a masterwork airborne advantage, and this is where the hovering starts to come into play. The actual primary stat on this is really great in itself, 50% impact, but we lose 20% of our blast damage. Now our ultimate is blast damage, so we did lose a little bit of effectiveness on our ultimate, but we gain so much effectiveness with our weapons to where it's a pretty good sacrifice with 50% impact. Not to mention, our weapon when hovering, we're already over the threshold of 300%. I believe we're over 400% with our weapons while we're hovering, and we're getting 50% increased impact, which is outstanding. And then with this is where the hovering comes into play. 30% thruster life. It's going to allow us to hover 30% longer, which is outstanding. There's a little bit of ice effect. You guys see that combo playing off with our frost grenades. If we scroll down a bit, we're getting increased damage with all our guns. So it's going to play into effect again with our heavy pistol of 25% base damage. We needed a little bit more luck because we were at 63%. So with this 35% luck that we just got, now we're at 98%. We just passed the threshold for 90% luck, and we can move forward. Now, if I could get a roll like this with the 35% luck, and we could maybe change out the LMG damage for assault rifle damage or heavy pistol ammo or something, just anything else that I could find useful, because we're not using the LMG with this particular build, that will be nice. It will be a nice improvement. Also, we can, improve this by getting a masterwork that will give us more health. It will be really, really nice if we could do something like that. But this is an outstanding roll on this firework calibration course, so that's why we're using that. We can scroll down again. We got Grenadier's Inscription. That's going to help reduce our cooldown for our grenades, and there's a little bit more ice effect, as you guys can see. And then here is that thruster life coming in again. So we're at 55% thruster life with just our main stats, which is outstanding. That allows us to hover for a long time. If we scroll down again, we got our shield reinforcements. We're going to boost our shields up, not our armor. And the reason why we're going with this is because of those nasty main stats again. 18% extra damage on a heavy pistol. I mean, we're just stacking damage on that heavy pistol. And we're even getting 18% more damage on our post blast. So we already got 10%. Now we're getting 28% more damage on our post blast, plus the 175% that it came with. I mean, this post blast is just nasty. Now we're going to scroll down to our tactical advantage, and this is more of that thruster life coming into play. Our engine heat threshold has been increased by 35%, which is clutch for this build. And weak points hits lower our thruster heat buildup by 10% for 5 seconds, which is clutch because we already got 55% extra thruster life. And now, whenever we hit weak points, our thruster is going to build up even slower, and we're using a heavy pistol. So we're trying to get those headshots. We're trying to get those weak points. And that's typically the way most players play anyway. So this is an outstanding masterwork. It's going to allow us to stay hovering even longer, and we can hover for a very, very long time. Now, if I wish I could trade out that supply 30% drop rate for maybe more hovering. We can just hover like crazy, or maybe armor, if we can do something like that and stack even more armor, or stack shields or something. That would be cool. I can't complain with the supply drop rate because due to us using these those three epic components, we do have a little bit lower health and armor, armor and shielding ratings than some of other javelins or some other builds in the game. It's a sacrifice we made for more damage. So I can't complain because dropping more supplies means we have more health options out there to pick up when we need them. Right now, we depend on that. Plus, we have our ultimate. Seeing that we do less damage with it, we mostly use it for a heal in emergency situations when we can't escape or when we feel like we need it. So, can't complain about that. The very last component that we have is our tip of the spear, which I feel like is a staple for any ranger build. At least for myself, you guys are going to be seeing tip of the spear very, very often when it comes to building ranger builds because it is so good. Ammo pickup, I would probably like to trade that out, seeing that we have the 30% drop rate. We're getting that. I mean, we never find ourselves running out of ammo, which is kind of nice. But I would rather trade that for maybe more shields, or I don't know. I feel like I have room to make slight improvements. Other than making these masterworks, I have room for improvements. But this combo damage being increased by 50% only helps our post blast out even more. We're already getting so much increased damage with that, and then when we combine the combo damage that we're going to do, plus with the ranger's effect to do even more single target damage by using combos, our post blast is amazing. I mean, we destroy guys out here, and this is just such a good component. Performing a combo restores 40% armor to nearby allies. I mean, that in itself makes it a choice to where you can't ignore it. This is a great combo component. And as we look at all of our components and we look at this build, you guys can start to see that it's predicated on flight. We have things that help benefit our grenade and help us be able to be more effective whenever we're trying to freeze people, which only keeps us safer. And we have things to viciously increase our post blast, or our Avengers Boon, if you want to call it that, to increase the damage on that, which is through the roof. While we are hovering, we're using our Avengers Herald to do big damage while hovering. Sometimes what I like to do when targets are a little bit further than that medium-sized range, I'll swap weapons while hovering to our Divine Vengeance, and the perk that you get for hovering, I think it's called Raptor's Deadeye. That perk, when we swap over to our Divine Vengeance, I'm not sure if it's a visual bug or if it's actually an effect, but when we swap over to our secondary weapon, we still have Raptor's Sense. So we're doing more damage with that weapon from further distances. As we're shooting, we're increasing that chance of proccing that fire explosion, and we are just doing big time damage. Again, this build is really crazy. It's really fun, and I wanted to showcase this build to you guys to show you that there are so many ways to play, and that this could be a way that you guys could play in the future if this is a way that you guys feel like you could do. I want to continue to promote the various ways to play this game, because there are truly indeed an infinite amount of ways that you could play this game. Because not only is this build predicated on hovering and floating, I could have easily switched out the cold-blooded with a fire nade. I could have switched out the Avengers Boon with a seeker missile, or just something else to even change the variety of just hovering. There's so many ways to go. I wanted to highlight this build, and I also want to say again, if you guys are interested in learning even more about the build, I will have a written guide of our hovering build on our Facebook page at facebook.com/SailorTurnGamer. I'll put a link in the description to the direct post so you guys can enjoy that. And I want to say thank you to anyone that has made it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. And I just ask that you stay here, give us a subscribe to get even more Anthem related content. We will be covering this game for years to come, and we will continue to evolve our creativity and continue to push the direction in which I believe that this game is phenomenal, and that it only gets better over time. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a like and a share, and be sure to join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Until then, this sailor will be out in the open ocean, and I do want to say right after this I'm going to have some footage rolling from me using the build, and if you guys enjoy that footage or enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe and join the fleet. Again guys, I appreciate it. Until then, this sailor will be out in the open ocean. Peace.
Stay close, I'll find the right strip frequencies. Understood. optional work. Nice. Any more details on the contract? I've been made aware of